kilo shrimp. Oh, creamy New England clam chowder. It's the perfect day for it. So I'm Olivia, and I like to cook. I have maybe just a wee bit of a reputation at our community in Mont Ste. Marie for liking to cook. We're gonna make a cooking show. So that's what we're doing. We're having a cooking show. It's kind of like Jennifer Garner's pretend cooking show, only not with Jennifer Garner. It's with me, sorry. But anyways, that's it. So today we are going to cook clam chowder and biscuits. And biscuits had to be the first thing because biscuits is often something I bring or I serve and everybody seems to like them. And I've had a few requests on how do you make those things? So we're doing clam chowder and biscuits today. So shall we get started? Let's get started. So we need half a cup of water, half a cup of broth, and I'm smashing 6 cloves of garlic, like this. I hate you. Ugh. And this just is going to add flavor to the clams when we steam them. So while we're getting ready to steam the clams, we can get ourselves set up to make the chowder. I already sliced up thick slices of bacon, 4 slices of bacon, and use the thick stuff. Don't be cheap. Don't buy maple flavored, just buy straight up smoked really good bacon. So that's 4 slices. So it's 1 cup of chopped onions, and we're gonna do 1 cup of chopped celery. So I can do that while we're waiting for the clams to steam. Now, when I do sliced celery, I'm super inclusive. I include the leaves because they have a ton of flavor in them. These ones are gross, so I'm gonna get rid of those. I'm gonna get rid of the ends, that end, but those leaves are amazing.
We're boiling.
Are we boiling? Okay, let's throw those clams in. Needs to be diced. Okay, so I'm gonna set the celery aside. There we go. Okay, we also need 1 cup of leeks. I've already cut off the ends of them. You know, they come huge and they've got big green stems. These are very clean, yeah. Okay.
Delicious.
Cool.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay, so we're gonna let them cool and then we'll pluck the meat out of them.
Do you want the garlic?
No, we can.
Okay, exactly.
Okay, now on to the main event, the chowder. If you could splash a dollop of olive oil in there,
Yes.
and we'll go on medium heat. Again, another lovely Le Creuset. Yeah, and I'm throwing in my 4 slices of thick bacon. You want it cooked, but not crispy, and definitely not burnt. Okay, waiting.
For bacon to cook.
For bacon to cook. Okay, so clams are done. Manon's plucking the meat out. Yum, yum, yum. These are small clams. Like normally I get the clams and they're like this big and they're frozen. And you would chop them. These are small enough that you don't need to chop them. Thank you for doing the dirty work.
Yes, you're very welcome.
So that's good. And I would estimate you probably need like a cup and a half of cleaned clam meat for the chowder. But
And by the way,
if you want more, that's great. If you want less, that's great too.
there was only 1 clam that wasn't open. You don't use the
Unopened clams, yeah. On to our bacon. Our bacon is done. Bits of bacon out here. Now it's time to saute our vegetables. So just to repeat, 1 cup of chopped leeks, 1 cup of chopped celery, and 1 cup of chopped onions. This is definitely more than a cup, so I won't put all of it in, but if you add a little bit more, no biggie. Okay. Oh, what the heck? Oh, no, I don't remember at all. Okay. That's not good. Okay, so we are going to saute this until they're tender. I gotta blow my nose.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. So I've got 2/3 of a cup of flour in one container, that's for later, and 2 tablespoons of flour, which I'm going to add, not right now, just in a few more minutes. I just need it to soften just a little bit more. Okay, so my veggies are softened nicely. I'm going to add the flour. So I'm going to cook the flour, or add the flour, and then you're going to just stir it around for a couple minutes because you want the flour to kind of work into the oil and cook the flour for just a wee bit. Now I am going to add the chicken stock. So I need 4 cups of chicken stock. Clam juice. It's supposed to be a 3/4 cup, but I'm just using the whole jar just because what do you do with this much clam juice, right? Tabasco sauce to give it a little bit of a kick. So 1.5 teaspoons of Tabasco. That's about right. Okay. Here we go. Thyme, bay leaves. It calls for 4 bay leaves. My bay leaves are, oh look at, they're actually almost entire bay leaves. Amazing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Voila. A teaspoon of thyme leaves. So that's done. And now we're just going to let this cook for a little bit to thicken before we add the cream. Now I can start chopping up my potatoes. So, traditional clam chowder has red potatoes in it, but you can really use whatever potatoes you have. I have washed these potatoes. I'm not going to peel them because I like them. If you want to peel your potatoes and use white potatoes, yellow potatoes, I wouldn't use russets. Go ahead. So we're going to dice these. And it calls for 3 cups of potatoes. So I'm going to say that's like 3 potatoes. Oh. Okay, now I'm going to add the potatoes. And this needs to simmer for about 15 minutes until the potatoes are soft. Because nothing would be worse than a crunchy potato in a chowder.
True.
One thing that I haven't done yet, which I should do, is add salt and pepper. So we're going to add some pepper. A wee bit of salt.
Oh, kosher salt.
Kosher salt.
And what's the difference, Olivia, between kosher salt and regular salt?
It's been blessed. The rabbi.
Really?
Well, that's what the kosher part means, as far as I know. So next, you're going to take your 50/50 cream, and you need 1 liter or 4 cups. And I have almost 4 cups, except for in Manon's coffee this morning. She used a weensy bit, so we're just shy of 4 cups. I'm just pouring it in this bowl because the 2/3 of cup of flour is going to go in the cold cream. Why cold? Because if you mix flour with something that is hot, you'll never get rid of the lumps. And who the F wants lumps, right? No one. So there you go. I'm gonna put it in here, and where did that whisk go?
Got it.
Whisk, check,
Voila.
stat, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna whisk the flour in. So see, my flour is nicely dissolving into the boop, 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 boop.
Cold.
And we're ready to pour this into the chowder. So let's do that. Okay, and now we can add
The clams.
the star of the show. They were baby clams.
Madame?
Okay. Oh, yummy. Holy crap, this is gonna be like clam chowder stew. Oh my god, look at that, that looks so good. I'm adding the bacon to it. There we go. And voila. This can go on low. It will slowly thicken. We'll cook off the flour taste from the little slurry of milk and cream and flour that we made and put in. And now we're gonna make the biscuits. Okay, so to accompany our chowder, we're going to make biscuits. Biscuits are super easy to make and they are delicious. So I'm gonna flavor my biscuits. You can flavor them with lots of things like cheese, you can just have them plain, you can even have them sweet with jam. They are like the most scrumptious things ever. But today I'm going to make a garlic parsley flavored buttermilk biscuit to go with our chowder. So I have 3 pieces of garlic here that I've smashed. I'm gonna trim the ends here, that one, and then dice it really finely. Excellent, voila. Starting with 2 cups of flour for the biscuits. And I always like to use the organic unbleached flour. That's what I use. Long enough, good enough. That's 1 cup, 2 cups of flour. Good enough. 2 teaspoons of baking powder, which is the magic in the baking powder biscuits or buttermilk biscuits that we're making. So a 1/4 teaspoon of soda. So the baking powder and the soda are your leavening agents. Leavening meaning it makes the rise. All this beautiful chemistry happens in the oven. Pastry blender. You take your pastry blender, you mix all the dry ingredients together. Okay, in the dry ingredients, we are going to mix our garlic and parsley. This is chopped fresh parsley mixed with a little bit of dried parsley. It was left over from a soup that I made the other day. So I'm just gonna use it in my biscuits. I'm gonna stir that around. This recipe calls for 7 tablespoons of butter. So I am not gonna measure out 7 tablespoons of butter. 6 tablespoons is about 1/2 cup of butter. So I'm gonna do like a weensy bit more than 1/2 cup of butter. Okay, now, when you're making biscuits, it's really important that your butter and the liquid, in this case it's going to be buttermilk, are really cold. So I'm using cold butter. I'm cutting it up into smaller pieces, little pieces to put in my flour mixture. Cubes of butter, yeah, we're gonna get even cuter. Okay, I'm gonna take my pastry blender and I'm cutting the butter in
You got a little rope.
into the flour, and the goal here is to get little teeny tiny like pea-sized pieces of butter kind of coated in the flour. So I have to work this in. Okay, so you can see how I'm pressing down, so I'm kind of slicing the butter in, but you're not creaming. You're getting little pebble-sized little balls of butter, not creamed into the flour. You don't want it creamed, you want the little balls of flour. So these are going to be buttermilk biscuits. And then please just buy real buttermilk. It's the best. It's absolutely the best. Shake it up. There you go. 2/3 of a cup. Thank you. So when I go to mix the liquid in, I've made a little well, a hole inside my flour mixture. I'm going to pour the liquid into that well. And tea biscuits are not, or buttermilk biscuits, it's not like bread. You don't want to knead it. Yeah, and I always use a fork to mix it. So you're just going to try to mix it together with as few strokes as possible, and you're going to be gentle with the dough. Okay, I'm going to flour the surface here. Okay, and I'm going to pour the dough. So I'm just going to pat it down. So then the other means of creating lovely layers is to fold it. So I'm just rolling it out into a square, and then I'll use my scraper, and you're going to fold it over in thirds like you would a letter. Turn it like this, and then now I think we're ready to cut this out. So you have a couple of options here. You can use a biscuit cutter. So you know this is a biscuit cutter because it's high. And so you can use a biscuit cutter to cut it if you want circles, or sometimes if I don't want to go to that trouble, I'll just cut it like with my knife boom, 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 and lift it all into the pan. But we're gonna use the vintage biscuit cutter. And you put them on an ungreased pan. And I always stick them side by each, like stuck together, because then they stay nice and soft. Okay, and when you're cutting out the biscuits, you're supposed to go straight down and not twist. Although, Manon, if you want to brush the tops of these while I wash my hands, and then we'll pop them back in the refrigerator. Okay, oven is set at 425.
Correct.
And they bake for about 15 minutes. The oven's ready. We're at temperature now. I kept the biscuits cold in the refrigerator because we want the butter to stay cold, and I'm going to pop them in for 50. Look at that. Just like Red Lobster. Here you go.
Sabu? Yeah.
Oh yes. So this is
Wow, cheers to you, Olivia.
Oh no, cheers to you guys.
Oh, you grab that?
Thanks for allowing me to live out my dream. We had our first show. It might be our last, but maybe not. That was super fun. Thank you for all your help and inspiration and assistance and dish doing and filming and everything. You guys are the best. Love you.
to making dreams come
Yeah.
true.
I
Love
can't
you,
wait to
Olivia.
taste it.
Mwah. Aw, mwah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hope you all enjoy.